Okay, so dear Dharma practitioners, be comfortable yourself and relax your body. And keep your back straight, neck head straight in one line, and your right palm on your left. And gently close your eyes and bring attention to this bell sound. And while you're focusing to the sound, mentally relax your body, relax your mind, and relax your breathing with your thoughts. So do nothing extra. Just follow the sound, please. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Exalted One, the fully enlightened one. So, dear Dhamma practitioners, before we start our practice session, let's take a few minutes to understand ourselves, how this practice will help for us to develop this conventional understanding, and at the same time, out of that conventional development, how we can gain our spiritual success. So always you have to remember, your conventional life and your spiritual life is not different. It's both has a deeper connection. So you have to transform your conventional life to your spiritual life. You cannot resist anything. So in that way, so whatever the practice basically need to help for your conventional comfort. And out of that deeply, once you have your mental satisfaction, clarity, that will help you to go deeper and understand what is the very reality or the nature of this life. So here the life means, the world means there are two worlds. One world is that outside we experience these material things or the physical world. Moon, the sun, the other planets, this all the trees, the mountains, the rivers, all other animals, this everything that what you experience is kind of like a world. And another world is what we experience in our mind with this body, with our eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, and with the form, feeling, perception, volition, recognition. It is deeply unknown, unseen, invisible world. So understanding that world is the main purpose. Because once you understand the very nature of that world, this outside world not going to become a problem. But most of time what happens, we develop our wisdom or our knowledge, especially when it comes to the conventional knowledge or the wisdom, mostly what we know about this outside world, we think as the wisdom. But that information may not going to help us to get out of our inner feelings or the inner struggle. It may not going to help us to liberate us from our own inner behavior. So that's why deeply understanding the very nature of your own mind, the very nature of the life yourself is the very key to get out of this physical material world. So that's why practicing meditation give you an opportunity and create a kind of like a platform for you to go into that. So it is your own effort. You have to do it by yourself. And at the same time, without becoming biased to any kind of culture, tradition, believing, following systems. You have to observe with very free mind. You have to have very open mind when you observe yourself, rather than conditioning yourself or rather than having preconditioned mind. So that is very difficult for us. Why it is difficult? Because from childhood, that is how we used to live in this world. Especially when it comes to this conventional knowledge, that is how we develop our life, conditioning, and at the same time, developing our own ideas and put our own life to top of that, our own imagination. So, but when it comes to your inner investigation, introspection, when you look into yourself, you can't use that method. So that's why learning regarding how to practice meditation is very necessary. The way we think as ordinary people doesn't work for this method. Because that our day-to-day mind mostly depend on habitual patterns. So here you have to have very different skill. So that's why we have to learn about it. So then it is your responsibility every day, learn about the technique properly. Because once you know the technique properly, once you close your eyes, once you get into the practice, and it make you more comfortable, relaxed, and it give the confidence and the trust to be with it. So that is the beginning point. If you know how to do, and then from that point, that whatever the experience come to you, then you can handle that. So when it comes to practicing meditation, there are two mental cultures we call tranquility meditation and insight meditation. So tranquility meditation, which come from the root we call the samatha bhavana. And the insight meditation, it's come from the roots called vipassana bhavana. So samatha means tranquilizing, calming down our mind, having undisturbed mind. The bhavana means cultivation, development. So then it's not going to happen itself. You have to put the effort to cultivate yourself to have an undisturbed mind. So conventional life, our ordinary life always develop a very kind of like a disturbed life. So now you go into deeper yourself to maintain undisturbed mind. So for that, we need a mental object. Why? Because our mind in a very conventional level always follow objects, names and forms. So right away you can't get out of this all. So that's why from the beginning we take the very clear, available mental object which we take or call the breathing. So that is our primary mental object. Focusing to in front of our nose and upper lip area, we bring the attention and recognize. So without doing any exercise, so without maintaining the way we want, we allow our inhalations, exhalations happen as it is. So why I bring this every day and telling this? Because most of time, and a lot of people, once they come to practice, once they start to practice, naturally their inner voice start to guide the breathing. So when you hear this every day, it makes you clear. But still sometimes when you start to practice, you forget what you heard. So that's why this reminding is very necessary to get into the right technique. So allow inhalation, exhalations happen as it is. Don't disturb to that natural process. And your purpose is practicing meditation means not just be with inhalation, exhalation. Our purpose is sharpening our awareness. So then always you have to put attention to your mind and see the very nature, the condition of the mind, behavior of the mind. If the mind becomes busy, lethargic, sleepy, lazy, and if you have doubt, so then itself you have to get out of it with the intention to see the inhalation, exhalation. You always have to have the effort to see it. And sometimes you're not going to see anything. You're not going to see the sensation. You're not going to see any inhalation, exhalation. Why? Because sometimes when our mind becomes busy, this sharp, clear inhalation, exhalation cannot see there. So if you can't see, just wait. Calm down, relax, slow down. Don't be hurry. Don't go behind expectations. Settle down. Have the contentment as who you are in this very moment with your sitting. Just know you complete. So that completion allow you to have very calm, relaxed, comfortable mind. And the mind become calm, then you're going to see this natural process. But at the same time, you have to remember sometimes when the sleepiness arises, when this mind become drowsy, when the laziness, lethargic mind arise, we shrink into it. We slowly start to mesmerize with it. We're going to be with it. But that is where you have to recognize it is not the inhalation, exhalation. Sometimes you're not going to see it. It's because of your condition of the mind. So don't struggle with the inhalation, exhalation. As example, you observe inhalation, exhalation. Now you don't see any inhalation, exhalation. And then you think about inhalation, exhalation, that thinking process start to manipulate the very natural process of inhalation, exhalation, and then you start to do the breathing. Don't do that. If you can't see the inhalation, exhalation, if you can't see the sensation, feel the sensation, the very reason may be your mind is not in the right condition, maybe lazy, maybe your mind somewhere else, maybe lethargic, no enough energy. So like that, it can be many reasons. So then look into your mind and brush up yourself, clean yourself, filter yourself. Because our purpose is sharpening the awareness. That is the main purpose of tranquility state. So the breathing we use as a object or the ladder or the vehicle or the path to get into that. And once you start to see the nature of the mind, once you're able to maintain it very clearly, so then you're going to see the inhalation, exhalation. So that's why don't struggle with the inhalation, exhalation. And again, look into the very deeper condition of the mind and work with it. So once you start to see the inhalation, exhalation, sometimes your mind becomes so comfortable with it, and sometimes you get used to it. And then what you need to do, bring the effort a little bit more and observe a little bit deeply. And that is why in the very beginning, you recognize inhalation as inhalation, exhalation as exhalation separately. And once you recognize it, you go from beginning to end. you see the entire continuation. You follow the entire continuation of inhalation, exhalation. And you see the very behavior, the character of each and every inhalation, exhalation. And so by the time your body, mind, the breathing start to settle down together. And then maybe the inhalation slowly start to disappear. Now you start to see how the mind behave, thought arise. So then you go to the very next step of the brain. So we take the breathing as the ladder to getting to the mind. So now you may not going to see the breathing. Now you see how the thought arise. So just see it. Don't always hold it to the breathing. No, no, no. So by the time because the breathing has a deeper connection with the mind. So we use the breathing to get into the mind. So now, deeper level, so your mind, how the thought arise, the very behavior of the thoughts, the very nature of the thoughts, you can see. So when it comes to that, once you see the thoughts, mean you see the very behavior of the mind, sometimes mind becomes so comfortable, relaxed, and sometimes, and with the desires, the thought arise, and again it disappear, another thought come. So then you're going to see this breaking mind. So the mind always breaking. Mind doesn't have that very solid nature. It always breaking. That is that breakdown we experience as thoughts. And breaking down, and again it makes something. The whatever it make, again it break down to another thing. So like that, it always breaking. This all the thoughts breaking, mind breaking to thoughts, and again it create another thoughts. So once you see this process, you're not going to claim this mind as you. So that is a deeper understanding, because without any reason, sometimes in the beginning you don't see the reasons, and you don't see the very depth of the thoughts, because there are deeper roots related to these thoughts you may not going to see from the beginning. But by the time you see these thoughts arising with the reason behind, there is a deeper, it's kind of like seeing a shadow from far away. So you see kind of like an intention. Different thoughts come. So like as example, when you have the very greediness or lust to eat something, many thoughts can come out of it. Just imagine when you're ready to eat, maybe you're trying to make your lunch or dinner. The biggest problem is not the food, and you always thinking what to eat. There are a lot of things, but you start to think. I want to eat this. No, I won't eat that. No, I don't want this. I won't eat this, or like that. See that your main purpose is eating, having your lunch or your dinner. But now see how many thoughts arising and breaking out of that one intention. And everywhere I go, and maybe many years backward or the many years forward, it go back and forth. Just imagine maybe 10 years back you ate something, and then suddenly, 10 years back I ate this one, and if I have this one for my lunch today, it's going to be so good. So like that. So one purpose, many thoughts can arise. But now you see this, and then you're not going to claim this as yours. So once you withdraw from your thoughts, you are capable to see it more and more and more clearly. When you see your thoughts, you are not going to respond to it very quickly. You create a gap in between your reaction and the thoughts. So that is what you need. So once you have this, you can go deeper, and you can have this experience. Because in this whole samsaric journey, human being, all living being have one kind of a very common nature. That these all living beings, until we attain to the Nibbana, we have kind of like an intention. This is me. It is for me. I am. Some people have the direct idea. It is me. There is a self. I am. And then there are some people have idea. There is no self. This everything can happen because of just by mistake. No reason. So like that, two ways. Some people accept there is a permanent self, and some people accept there is no permanent self. Or there is no reason for this. But when it comes to the Buddha's teaching, in accordance to the following the very basic principle of cause and condition, of course there is a self. Of course there is a you. You can't say there is no self. Then you can do anything. You can go crazy and destroy this entire world. No, there is a person, there is a self. You are responsible for that, your own actions, which we call the karma. And at the same time, that whatever you experience, this is the basic principle you have to remember. Whatever you experience is not permanent. It is not about there is no self. No, no, no. This is why, that's why you practice. If there is no self, why you have to practice? There is somebody. This is why that you feel this soul. Otherwise, what the Buddha come to this world, and why the Buddha come to this world and told this, all the teachings. Why you practice so much? Because there is a person. But the thing is, you have to take that responsibility, but you have to know it is not permanent. There is a me, but it is not permanent. How this me, or I am, come to be like this? Because when I have the idea, there is me, I am, self, permanent, that start to build up all the mess around us. So then, that's why understanding deeply the very cause and conditions will help you to know, and according to the very necessary actions, reactions, the result come. So our intention leads us to make actions. So your thoughts leads you to create action. So your thoughts are kind of like, even though you can't see, your thoughts are kind of like have power to make things happen. So that's why sometimes it's a thoughts are physical. Just imagine around you, this everything, most of things that we use today came out of human mind. But it is just arise as a thought. But now we experience as a material things. So then go a little bit deeper with that same principle. This body, this eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, this everything that we see, we experience as physical. You can touch it, you can feel it. But this physical arise because of the mind. Same like this material thing. There is no such a thing independently exists like this ball. But we can't say there is no ball. No, no, no. Look, we can touch this, we can feel it, and we can see it, you know. So there is something. But how it happened like this way? It not happen naturally itself. Somebody thought about it and then use some material and create it. Now we have this. But just imagine the very beginning, when the very first time, when the people that had the time, there's no like these singing bowls. But how about the very first person make this one? And he thought about it, or maybe another thing helped her to create this. So then it thought that thoughts became physical. So like that, this everything what we experience as physical came from our mind. So there is a reason for that. It not happened by mistake. So what is the reason that within our eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, how this eye happened to us? Because we have the desire to see. How this ear happened? Because we have desire to hear. How this nose happened? Because we have desire to smell. How this tongue happens? Because we have desire to eat. How this body happened to us? Because we have the desire to feel. How the mind happens? Because we have desire to think. So then if anybody, little by little, withdraw from that desire, even though this physical eye, until we die, this eye going to be here, like this. But that doesn't mean it create another eye. But if we keep looking, and I have the desire to see, and then by the time when I die, even before I die, if my eye become blind, deeply I have the intention to see. That intention create another eye for me. It's kind of like it happened in thoughts, but that thought start to become physical. So once you know this principle, be careful about your mind. Why? Because whatever exists in your mind as thoughts, the very next day, or even in that very moment, or the very next moment, right in that very moment, it start to become physical. So that's why never have the greed, hatred, or the delusion, or the anger, jealousy. So that kind of negative thoughts. Why? Because then somehow it start to become physical. So then protect your mind always with the loving kindness, compassion, empathy, understanding, clarity. So because in that way, what happens? That also going to become physical. So that is what we call the world. So then we say, oh, today the world is so crazy. What does that mean? Our thoughts are crazy. That is what happened. The world itself not going to happen anything. So as example, just imagine, now there is a law after 2030, there is no this gas vehicles. They're not going to make it. So then within another 20 years, just imagine 2050, the whole country may be running with electric vehicles. So that's going to become our world, whoever is the future generation for them. It doesn't matter what you like or not. Everybody going to drive electric vehicle. So who create that? How 2050, the whole country, so that means outside world, have all the electric vehicles. It just happened itself? It happened by mistake. It created by unknown, invisible power. No. People are taking decisions. And that decision becomes the world. So like that, whatever the anger that you have, and out of that anger, what happens by the time it creates some kind of physical environment. You may not going to see it. As example, the cancer. There's nothing, you can't see anything. This is skin, you can't see anything like this. Just imagine, then I get so angry every day and burning my blood, my blood become heat and disappointed, unhappy, and always looking for the revenge. So then by the time, maybe this area of my skin start to get dark. And then, oh, I look, oh, there's some kind of, something. Then I go to doctor and they start to examine it, and then later they say, oh, you have a skin cancer. See that? Now we can see, now everybody can see this. But how it happened like that? It's just by mistake? It's because of just the karma? No, 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 no. The very behavior of mind created that. So then always remember. That's why that's why what the Buddha told. Mind is the Purana. It's nothing to do any religion or the whatever the country you live, whatever it's nothing to do with that. Mind is the Purana. Mind is the creator. And then take care of your mind. And once you know this principle, it makes your life more clear. So that doesn't mean the world going to change by itself. No, we are the one who can change the world. So that world, not the outside world first, that our inside. So once you have this understanding, what happens? This cravingness arising in us slowly going to disappear. How it happens? So there, when it comes to suffering, this material world has a kind of like the suffering or the unsatisfaction or the struggle, we can explain in many ways. So one of the way is, just imagine that you want to have a house. So dreaming about house, it's a struggle, suffering. It's difficult. So that once, so then once you have the house, are you going to be happy about it? Of course, you can be happy for a certain level, but still, then what happens? You have to pay the mortgage. You have to keep maintaining it. It's not going to happen just itself. And then you have to work for that. So then, and then sometimes things go wrong. Sometimes the bathroom start to leak, or maybe water heater not going to work, or maybe the AC doesn't work, or in this winter time the heater doesn't work, or maybe rainy time there is a leak. So then you have to work for that. It's not easy. So that itself a struggle. That is one thing. So then imagine that our world, where are it going to end? There is no end. We maintain this body, this is going to be like this, but suddenly we get sick, then we have to maintain it. And it's not going to be the same like this. We get old, and then when we get old, the life becomes so difficult for all of us. Once you sit, you can't stand. Once you stand, you can't sit. Walking is a very difficult. And you start to lose your mobility, you start to lose your hearing, you start to lose your eyesight. So then you have to struggle for that. So that's not easy. That itself, you have to understand, no one can escape from that. So when we born with that bond, so we have it, it's keep coming to us. But you have to remember, it is not you. That is the principle that you have to understand. It's not belong to you. It is not permanent, unchangeable self. Hold that all. No, it happened because of the cause and effect. And so once you know this method, you're not going to hold it. Even you experience it. You accept it. Why? Because things happen because of many reasons. And other suffering is another thing. Like just imagine, early in the morning, you drink a cup of tea or coffee or whatever, smoothie or the juice or the protein or any whatever the drink you, and then you feel so good about it. And then what you think? And the very next day, you want to have that again. That yesterday you felt whatever good, now you keep looking, chasing, wanting, but it's not going to happen. So whatever that in that very moment, it's like a spark, it's like a thunder, lightning. You felt something, but it disappeared, it's gone. But now you every day try to make coffee and try to make it like that coffee, but it's gone. But the mind don't recognize. Mind start to hold it to that moment of memory, and maybe you keep drinking coffee, believing that the first taste that you had. So everything the same. Maybe you had a good, nice meal, and then you felt so good about, and the very next day, and then after maybe 1 year, many years, you keep thinking about that, whatever the good experience happened, you want to repeat it. So that's another suffering. Because whatever you experience, it's not going to be there anymore. So whatever you see, hear, smell, taste, feel, think that only one time you experience this in entire human journey. It's not going to come back to you. But we have very kind of like a nature hard time to let go. That what you experience. A good or bad, whatever, neutral, whatever experience we remember, remind, repeat. But you have to remember. You should know yourself that what you experience in the moment, that's it. Don't try to repeat it. Even though you do the same thing, no, it is a very different moment, different timing, and experience it as a very new moment. So in that way, you keep the newness, and you are the one who get out of this suffering. Otherwise, we always keep looking something, we follow our mind, keep looking something, which we'll never find. How far we'll go, no one can tell. It's a long journey. We came so long journey, and we'll going very long journey. And you have to go just by yourself. So then make it very short. Why? Because wherever you go, whatever the journey you make, this is the things that we have to keep doing. There's nothing else we can do. This is the life. Maybe this outside this environment, material things will be changed a little bit, but this is the life we have to keep doing. From our eyes, we like to see. From our ears, we will hear, nose, smell. From our tongue, keep eating. People will associate people. And from our mind, we'll keep thinking. There's nothing else. So then it is a very good opportunity for you to think a little bit and withdraw from this suffering. The cravingness that we build up inside us looking for something. So the meditation is a method. The sitting means you settle down. You don't look for anything. You don't try to make anything, but you give your clear awareness to see what you experience in the moment. And once you settle down with that, because what we experience in the moment, that was what experience everywhere all the time, but we never saw it. There's nothing else we're going to experience. But we'll experience form, feeling, perception, volition, recognition. That's it. There's nothing else. So once you know that, naturally, you detach from the desire. Anymore, you don't look to see something, hear something, smell something, taste something, feel something. So whatever appear, you will recognize, but there is no desire to see. These two different things. Understand it very clearly. There is no desire to see, but whatever is there, you will see. There is no desire to hear, but whatever the sound, you will recognize. That is the day you're going to recognize very clearly the sounds. There are a lot of sounds around you keep happening. You never heard it yet. Even though you live in your house for 10, 20 years maybe, around you, there are many sounds keep happening. You never heard that. You know why? The reason? Because your desire to hear something neutral, that all the sound keep happening around. So then just imagine, once you drop the desire, you start to hear a lot of sound around. It's a very different experience. There are a lot of things that you can smell, but when the desire to smell something, what happens? You don't see that, you don't feel that other smells. There are a lot of that taste that you can experience, but you will never maybe. Reason, when you have desire to eat certain things, that other everything go away from you. The feelings the same. The mind the same. So that's why once you neutralize, settle down and be with your awareness, will open you to more higher level of frequency. So with that, let's get into practice a little bit now. So your right palm on your left and neck, head straight in one line, and be comfortable with your posture. So bring your attention to your body and scan head to toes yourself and say Sopateva, or may I be well and happy 3 times. Take a moment and think. We gathered here in this moment to practice this ancient meditation technique. All the Buddhas, all the enlightened masters followed this path and achieved wisdom. So we also gathered here to accumulate that knowledge. In this moment with this sitting, may my body become more comfortable, may my breath be more smooth, may no difficulties come to me. May all the success come to me. Also think for a moment, this is the last moment we're spending in this very lifetime, and detach your mind from all your past memories and as well as any kind of future thoughts. Just try to remain in the present moment, observing the sensation of your inhalation and exhalation. So in the beginning, deeply and gently, breathe in, breathe out 3 times and find the sensation, please. And allow your inhalations, exhalations happen itself. When it happens, recognize it, do nothing extra. Bring your attention to your body, please. Observe your posture. We cultivate loving kindness and compassion in our heart and radiate it as a light through entire your compound, village, city, state, country, world, around this universe. Also as far as you can through galaxies, other planets, stars. Reminding yourself like this. With clear intention, mentally repeat after me. May all living beings in this universe be well and happy. May everyone be happy and safe. And may their hearts be filled with joy. May all living beings live in security and in peace. Beings who are frail or strong, tall or short, big or small, visible or not visible, near or far away, already born or yet to be born. May all of them dwell in perfect tranquility. Let no one do harm to anyone. Let no one put the life of anyone in danger. Let no one out of anger or ill will wish anyone any harm. Expand the loving kindness and compassion beginning from your heart, forward, visualize yourself and send it as a light. To your backside, to your left side, and to your right side. Downward, and upward. All 6 directions at once, like the moon, the sun, spread the light, spread the energy, without any condition, without any limitation, without any resistance or without any judgment. Let your heart to shine with the loving kindness and compassion from the bottom of it, with the maximum effort to the highest, wishing yourself, may all living beings in this universe be well and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So first of all, we offer this practice to the great qualities of the Buddha, Dhamma and the Sangha. Also by the power of this meritorious deed, may all of us attain to the supreme bliss of Nibbana. May all your guardian angels and deities will receive these merits and increase their longevity and protect all of you from any kind of planetary influences or any ill effects. Ittavata chammihi sampadam punya sampadam sabbe deva numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhuta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe satta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya Imaya Dhamma Nudhamma Patipattiya Buddham Pujemi Dhammam Pujemi Sangham Pujemi Addaya Imaya Patipattiya Jati Jara Vyadi Maranam Ha Paribunjisami Idamme Punya Kammang Asavakkaya Vahang Hotu Sabba Dukkha Pamunchatu. Bless you.